If I was sitting down for coffee with an alien and the alien asked me, what is it like to go through growth as a human being? This is kind of what I would describe to them. My name is Zaki. I'm an engineer turned entrepreneur, and I have gone through many struggles in life, mentally, emotionally, physically, circumstantially, whatever you want to call it. And I went from an engineering career to entrepreneurship. I was married. I'm now a 50-50 single father. I've gone through all kinds of debt and things like that, struggled with mental issues. And in the process of going through all these changes in my life and acknowledging growth and experiencing new levels of freedom and abundance, there were certain patterns that really started to emerge and similarities that were occurring, habits that I was getting into, practices that I was taking on that really helped me to get through those things. And it was very helpful for me to acknowledge the different stages of these growth patterns that I was going through. So, what I did was I illustrated it, I put it down, I documented it, and I put some of my favorite resources and references to describe these things because I think that if you're a human being, which I assume you are, thanks for being here. You've likely found me through YouTube or through school. Welcome. I'm guessing you've gone through it too in some capacity, in some fashion, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you found my community, entrepreneurs being humans. You've gone through some sort of struggles, whether it's in your business or personally or with your family or anything. And I think there's something incredibly connective and human about that. And I don't think that we talk about it enough. So that's why I put this together. I think everyone goes through it. I think everything is okay. Every stage of the process is okay. And we need different things at different times. And as great as social media is, and as great as resources are and platforms are, the algorithms don't know what we need at any given time. I could be in a phase where I'm really going through it at the time. I don't need to be told everything's, peachy and rosy. I may be experiencing the greatest highs of gratitude in my life. I don't really need tools to go through the challenges. So I attempted to break it down into 4 phases, and I called it the human growth cycle. And yes, this is slideshow style. It is a little bit of a presentation style. So bear with me if you're not really into that. But hey, I'm going to stick with you and we're going to do this together. Forgive my engineer brain, but it's how I synthesize information and it helps me to visualize things and see things. So without further ado, let's get into this. This is the human growth cycle. It's slightly abbreviated. You can download the full version through school. My name is Zaki Ahmed, and in this growth cycle, hey, newsflash, the experience of growing as a human being has patterns, like I mentioned, just like everything else in nature. Think about days, seasons, birth cycles. Each are unique. Each year is unique. Every day is unique. Every sunrise is unique, but they all have clear similarities. Our individual growth is no different. You just have to dig deep enough to recognize it. And if you've thought this before, I found peace. How can I now feel such anguish? Then you're in the right place because this is the kind of thing we're going to talk about. I found the craziest highs and I felt like I could conquer the world. I felt like I could do anything. I would be driving down the road and experiencing the sunshine and listening to the best music. And I was like, there is nothing that is ever going to bring me down ever again. I have never felt this good. And lo and behold, whether it was a day later or a week later, I crashed and I felt the deepest of anguish I've ever felt. And I had to just start piecing this together. Why is this? Why is this? It's because it's a cycle. The energy required to overcome challenges has a signature, and the underlying process of overcoming, learning, and growing is cyclical and somewhat predictable. I think that's tremendously useful because if you can acknowledge and actually start to predict what is going to be coming up next, it prepares you that much more for what's ahead and what to do about it. And that is also why I included resources, by the way, because I'm not the expert. I learned from tremendous people, tremendous minds, tremendous resources, and I picked some of my favorite ones here. Music played an incredible role for me in experiencing challenges and going through things. So I've included a little bit about music as well. This is not a quick fix. Okay, I want to emphasize that. So I put it in a box and I bolded it and I put it in the middle of the screen and I made it pop up on the next slide because this is not a quick fix. This is a map for the real work you know you need to do. And like I mentioned in the before, it's going to be unique. Every challenge is unique because every person is unique. Every experience is unique. Everything that you go through, every time you go through it, is going to be unique. There's no quick fixes for this stuff. This is an acknowledgement. We're shedding light on the realities of struggle, the cyclical nature of human growth, and what unites human beings in our challenges. Each challenge can lead to a higher state of being if we can integrate and apply the learnings effectively. I truly believe that. And I think that we have to be able to integrate those learnings. You have to be able to actually absorb and face them if you expect to advance and kind of grow and make it push yourself into the next stage. In this guide, broken up into several videos here, but if you download the full PDF version, you'll find what I define as the 4 phases of human growth and the cost of entry required to enter each. That'll make more sense soon. Action steps you can take in each to keep yourself moving forward. So this is not just a definition of things. I'm actually offering what I think are action steps to support you in this, ways to support yourself and integrate learnings, my music and reading recommendations, and simple mantras to stay on track. As I said before, I picked out some of my favorites in those regards. Hopefully they can help you as well. So without further ado, this is it. Let me move myself over here so we can see the whole thing. This is the human growth cycle. This is what I've defined it as. I start here in the stable phase. This is foundations and comfort zones. This is basically how you're operating. This is your operating mode. Going to work, your, day to day, your whatever you want to call it, it's stable. And it takes routine to get here. It's some level of repetition in your lifestyle, in your days, in your mind, in your emotions, whatever it is, you found some stability. That is a phase in itself. Once you can acknowledge, once you can actually understand that, okay, there's a challenge here, there's a problem here, and you've decided to address it and face it, then you enter the challenge phase. That's what I call the challenge phase. It's time for focused work. This is the real difficult, nitty-gritty stuff. This is the excruciating tears, pain, all the hard stuff. This is what I call the challenge phase. And once you can resolve and actually address those things and release or resolve your challenges, you enter what I call the reset phase, where you orient to a new version of yourself. You've never been this version of yourself because you've never overcome that specific challenge before. So you are a new version of yourself in some capacity. So you need to reset. You need to reorient and kind of readjust that new version of yourself to what is around you, your relationships, your job, your environment, whatever it is. And if you can find a level of gratitude for everything that you've gone through and express some appreciation for not only the resolution, but also the challenges themselves, I believe you enter something called the bliss phase, where you experience new freedoms. These are the new highs. These are the euphorias. These are the incredible feelings that you feel as you drive down the road, like I said before, feeling the sunshine and listening to your favorite music. This is the good stuff, but you have to go through everything to get there. Now, as I mentioned before, growth is cyclical. Okay, so we have to acknowledge that when it's effective, the highs feel higher because you're stronger than you've ever been. You're going to feel the most joy, the most gratitude, the most freedom. And the lows feel lower because you're facing greater challenges than you ever have before. You're stronger than you've ever been before. Life needs to push you harder. Think about going to the gym. You can't just keep lifting the same weight. You have to lift heavier weights to actually continue growing once you're that strong. Growth is perpetual and it's messy. And even though I drew this nice little spiral here on the screen, no, it actually doesn't work out that way all the time, where it just looks perfect and circular and all that kind of stuff. But strive to bring awareness and acceptance to your own personal experience at all times. And rest assured, life only presents you with challenges that you're capable of overcoming. So never stop. And entrepreneurs, how many times have you heard this? Never stop. The only failure in entrepreneurship is quitting. It's when you stop. So just never stop. The good news, though, is that awareness and effort in this arena hones the skill set. You'll find yourself able to move through phases and grow faster as you ascend. And I can attest to this because things that used to take me, not kidding you, years, I had mental and emotional challenges that took me years to overcome because I was so struck and shattered by them that it took me years. I recently overcame a challenge in a matter of days and another one in a matter of hours because I had the tools, I had the preparation, I had the confidence, but I had honed my skill set. I had honed the skills, the ability to grow, the ability to face something head on, deal with it, and move on from it. I think that's a pretty big deal. So, with that said, that's the end of the intro video. Keep watching in the next one for the stable phase. We're going to get into that, and I'll break down each one individually. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know, drop a comment if you have any, and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day.